We have no time to waste. Donald Trump's DHS Secretary Kristi Noem just got called out for trying to pull a dirty political trick on TV. She immediately tried to pin the tragic National Guard shooting that happened in D.C. the day before Thanksgiving entirely on Joe Biden, entirely on Democrats, therefore shirking responsibility away from the current administration and running defense for Donald Trump. Well, Kristen Welker rightfully points out, hey, you can't just place responsibility on the prior administration when this person, the suspect who shot these two National Guard members, was approved for asylum in April of 2025 under Donald Trump. And it's worth pointing out that affirmative asylum cases go through the executive branch. So the Trump administration directly approved his asylum case. And honestly, they had no reason not to at the time. He was just somebody who had helped out the U.S. military in Afghanistan, but there was no vetting. They should have vetted it further, and Kristi Noem throughout this interview digs herself into a deeper hole as she admits that there was no vetting whatsoever. There was no vetting even under the Trump administration. Let's waste no time and jump right in. Make sure you drop a like and double check to make sure you're subscribed to the Adam Mockler feed. We are building something that is going to punch back against MAGA media, but we just need your help. Let's start here.
You say something very notable. You say he was radicalized here. This suspect, we should note, was a member of the CIA-trained strike force. According to former intelligence and military officials, he would have undergone extensive vetting during his tenure there and afterwards. It is worth noting Citizenship and Immigration Services, an agency which is a part of DHS, approved the suspect's asylum application in April of this year. Why did the Trump administration grant the suspect asylum in April? Did you know then that he was moving toward radicalization?
Well, Kristen, you need to remember that when this abandonment of Afghanistan happened, the Biden administration put people on airplanes, brought them to the United States without vetting them. They brought them into our country and then said they would vet them afterwards. And then at that time, to do a good job of vetting people, you need to have cooperation of that government that is from their country. You have to have a stable government that will give you information, contacts, background information, and biometrics that you may need to identify that individual.
I'm going to mute it for just 1 second, but understand that Kristi Noem talks for 45 seconds, 60 seconds, doesn't actually give a substantive answer. Let's continue.
To that, we are now using all social media content. We're going after what they have been doing with their contacts, their biometric data information we are collecting. Now, when we vet individuals under this administration, we know who they are, why they are here, and going through that. Unfortunately, this individual, that entire process happened under Joe Biden's watch.
Okay, so in this clip, Kristi Noem is saying two contradictory things. She's saying the Biden administration was incompetent in the way that they vetted these refugees, or asylum seekers, rather. And then Kristi Noem says, we relied on the initial vetting from the Biden administration regarding these asylum seekers. Kristen Welker pushes back on this exact point.
I want to be very clear about this because his asylum was approved in April of this year on the Trump administration's watch. So just to be very clear, was there a vetting process in place to approve that asylum request?
Yeah, the vetting process all happened under Joe Biden's administration.
But was he vetted when he was granted asylum? Are you saying he wasn't vetted when he was granted asylum?
Vetting is happening when they come into the country, and that was completely abandoned under Joe Biden's administration.
So she admits it right there. She admits those two contradictory things, that she thinks Biden's vetting was not up to par, was not good enough, which she can hold that position. That's fine. But then how are you also going to say you relied on Biden's vetting? We were 3 months into Trump's term when this man was granted asylum, and Kristi Noem is trying to shirk all responsibility away.
Administration. That's the irresponsibility that has completely devastated our country, Kristen, put us in such a dangerous position. I don't think people realized when Joe Biden was in the White House exactly how he was allowing our country to be infiltrated with people that we didn't know who they were. Some of them we did know were dangerous, and we went after as soon as they came into this country. But under this program, we could have up to 100,000 people that came in
Back to the talking points. Now listen, I am all for safe, legal immigration, but the way the Trump administration is operating is not making our country safer. It is making it more dangerous. This is a perfect representation of why the Trump administration has responsibility for this. This debate is perfect. Harry Sisson points out in the original post the truth. He says, Donald Trump approved the D.C. shooter's asylum request in April. MAGA has spent all day blaming Joe Biden and Democrats, but maybe should take a look at their own guy. Then, a MAGA guy, Cam Higbee, tries to fact check him and says, the president doesn't approve asylum cases. The judiciary does. The same judiciary that's been actively working against the president since he took office. These are the basics. Stop lying. But then James comes in and just smacks Cam Higbee across the face and says, total lie. Affirmative asylum cases, like the one the shooter filed, are approved by the U.S. CIS, which is part of the executive branch. So the Trump administration did indeed approve the shooter's asylum request, which is fine, given that he had fought with the U.S. against the Taliban. I mean, we hadn't vetted him sufficiently enough at the time to know if he was good or bad, but the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the USCIS, is responsible for approving affirmative asylum cases, which is exactly what this man had. So the Trump administration in April was totally, absolutely in charge of approving him. Immigration judges are also in the executive branch. These all exist within the executive branch under Donald Trump's purview. So Kristi Noem is a slippery liar. All of the MAGA supporters that you see talking about this are slippery liars, but it gets worse. Kristi Noem is then asked about the Remigration Now post that the Department of Homeland Security made. If you've been following my videos over the past few days, I made a video, it almost has 1 million views now, where I tried to direct everyone's attention to a post from the Department of Homeland Security that reads, the stakes have never been higher, and the goal has never been more clear. Remigration now. And I tried to do some education about what the term remigration means. By the way, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed if you've been enjoying the videos lately. But remigration, during previous decades, meant voluntary return migration, but it's taken a dark turn over the past decade or so. It is a form of European far-right ethnic cleansing via the mass deportation of non-white minority populations, especially immigrants, and sometimes including those born in Europe. So anybody who's not white is forcefully deported. Immigrants, naturalized immigrants, people who moved here, and people who were born here but their parents are immigrants. Everybody's extended families if you're an immigrant. It is some insane, sick, twisted shit, and the DHS account posted about it. Kristi Noem was then asked about it in an interview, gave a terrible answer.
All right, President Trump wrote on Thursday, quote, only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. On Friday, DHS posted, quote, remigration now. As you probably know, this term has been used in different situations, but including by the far right in Europe to call for the mass deportation of non-white immigrants. How specifically does the Trump administration define remigration?
Well, President Trump has been working towards cleaning up the mess that Joe Biden left us ever since he came into the White House.
But how do you define that word,
know,
Secretary Noem?
Biden,
how do you define that word?
Pin her down. Don't let her slip away.
Criminal illegal aliens we've been targeting since day one.
Okay, this is what they do. Every single time they get asked a question, they string these words together. Criminal, illegal, alien, illegal, immigrant, drug, rape, migrant. They use the same few words to stoke fear.
Well, first of all, we have criminal illegal aliens we've been targeting since day one. We have removed millions of people from this country already just in the few short months that President Trump has been president.
By the way, they haven't. The majority, like 65% of the people that have been detained and deported have had no criminal record.
By making sure we're going after criminal illegal aliens that are...
No, she said the phrase again.
murderers, rapists.
She's just spitting out random talking points.
Criminals.
Wait, you already said criminals.
And getting them out of our country, bringing them to justice, and then encouraging people to go home. If you're here illegally and breaking our laws, you can leave now, and you may get the opportunity to come back someday. But if you wait until we detain you, and we will deport you, and you'll never get the chance to come back to America.
Wait, say the buzzword one more time.
And visit us or become a citizen. We're going to continue to do that, go after those criminals, go after those individuals that came in.
She said criminal.
Under programs that were broken on the Biden administration, and people who were in place and leadership in that.
What is she saying? Okay, this is word vomit. Kristi Noem has had a really weird, rapid transformation over the past few years where she looked like a normal mom like 6 years ago. And I think she got Trumpified. She got some plastic surgery of some sort. I'm not really an expert on what type of plastic surgery, but there's clearly something there. Now she's on TV, like sputtering and spouting and just stuttering over herself, saying random stuff while looking kind of odd and fake. I mean, dude, this is some messed up, weird, dystopian stuff. We have people on TV looking like clowns defending remigration, which is ethnic cleansing that is being pushed by far, far right groups. Kristi Noem then went on This Week, ABC, normally hosted by George Stephanopoulos, and tried to use the same talking point, got the same pushback. So she's basically doing the Sunday morning TV rounds, the Sunday morning news cycle, which a lot of politicians and operatives do. And in this news cycle, she's telling the same lie over and over and just getting fact-checked repeatedly.
And you said that he was radicalized here in the United States. He was admitted to this country by the Biden administration. That's 100% correct, 2021. But he was granted asylum by the Trump administration in April. So did you see any red flags?
If you remember, John.
Yeah, did you see any red flags?
John, all the information that was gathered on that vetting process was gathered under the Biden administration. His asylum claim application started under the Biden administration.
Okay, this isn't a good argument. This doesn't help them. This doesn't help them. So all of the vetting that was gathered under the Biden admin that they claimed was poor vetting, was awful, was dangerous to our country, they went with that vetting, and that is the argument they're going to use. It is dog shit. It is terrible. I'm going to leave it there. I love you all, and peace out.